to No Filter Boxing. This week we're in the heart of Manchester to visit Trainer of the Year Jamie Moore. Here's a taste of what you can expect over the next half hour. We speak in depth with Jamie on the morale in the camp and the big fights to come. We're also joined by some of his star names, including Carl Frampton and Rocky Fielding, who join us ahead of their upcoming bout. And we're in the Wildcard Gym in Los Angeles, where we catch up with Scott Quigg.
So as you can see, we're at the environmental chamber. It's so difficult because of the lack of oxygen in there. So it's a great tool. It's tough work. Even for me, just holding the pads, it's tough. So for the lads, it's even harder.
Until I joined Jamie, I was having to sleep in between sessions. I was that tired. I was constantly tired, and obviously a lot of it was down to how I was training and what I was eating and how I was recovering. I just felt tired all the time. I feel like an athlete now, which is strange thing to say. Consider I've done quite a lot in my career so far, but I feel like I'm preparing like a proper athlete. Jamie and Nigel are doing a great job of us all. He picks things out quicker than I do, and so you sit down and you talk about the opponent, and you don't really notice things and habits until he tells you, and then you go, yeah, he does that. You have a better eye for it than me, definitely. So I just listen to his advice, and I'll do what I'm told pretty much. It's important to have full confidence in your trainer, and I do with Jamie and Nigel. Both of them have my best interest at heart, definitely.
Come on! Boxers are notorious overthinkers. They dwell on the fight coming up, and a fighter can, at the beginning of the camp, be 100% convinced or know he's going to win the fight, and then a week before or a day before the fight, he'll overthink it that much that he'll convince himself he's going to lose.
So it's good fun. It's good fun. You just need to be always aware of what's going on around you in this gym.
Oh, listen. Just on your face. Just tell me how to do a training session.
The less time or the more time we have having a crack, having a joke, pulling people's pants down, the better for me from a boxing point of view, because then as soon as I say, right, come on, switch on now, boom, I can see I've got the 100% attention. So it works. If you can get a fighter to enjoy coming to the gym, you'll get the best out of them because they're enjoying what they do. And I think that's in any walk of life.
I was always looking forward to the day of retiring, and I was excited about it, not having to get up and graft and the monotony of training, and just didn't feel right. This felt like a job, didn't enjoy doing it. But now I'll not be as excited to retire, let's just say. I think I'll be, I'll miss the camaraderie of the boys.
Upside down, hold
If 6 months ago we'd have gone into the chamber in the environment it is today, the lads wouldn't have lasted, and they're fine. They're struggling, the heart rates are up, but they're fine, whereas in the past they've had to pull them out and give them a minute or so outside. So it shows that they're getting the benefit and they're improving.
Me and Josh kind of go about our own business, and I suppose there's a wee bit of needle, a few wee things have been said recently, but that's about the height of it, not a lot. I think he thinks I'm done. Genuinely think that him and his team think that I'm done and over the hill, but they're wrong. We'll see.
Oh, what about that?
Here you go, old timer.
Oh, thank you, mate.
Happy birthday, mate.
Cheers, pal.
To many more.
BT No Filter Boxing. Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. 40 years old. Older than God.
Who'd have thought?
Older than God.
So you're going to be one of those crusty old trainers who's like Mickey Goldmill for Rocky when you're 85 years old, you're still doing it?
The similarities are there. I must be Mickey, but if I'm Mickey, Nigel's Paulie, you see.
Have you said that to him?
I always call him Paulie.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't sweat you.
Brilliant.
That's bang on that. Nice one, boys. We having a piece then?
Yeah. You've been voted 2018's Trainer of the Year.
Yeah, I was obviously flattered to be nominated for it, but I didn't ever think I'd win. But I didn't really take on board the success we'd had over the 12-month period, because it happened so quickly. As soon as the fight happened on the Saturday, we'd have, you know, celebrate afterwards, and then the Monday was back in the gym halfway through training for the next one. So I'd never really absorbed it and took it all in, the success the gym had had, until I sat down and I read through the brochure at the award ceremony, and I thought, we've got a chance here. I never really understood that I fell out of love with boxing until the last 12 months happened. When I think about it now, I probably fell out of love with it around about 2007, 2008. The weight, injuries, I'd sort of stopped enjoying fighting, and I found it back a little bit training Tommy, and we had some big nights. But the way the gym is now, I feel that camaraderie. I've got the routine back in your life, which you lose when you retire from boxing. So there's a lot of aspects where I fell back into place what are similar to when I was fighting, but I'm miles busier now than I ever was.
You've been shot in the shoulder, in the hip, and in the leg. Did you?
50 Cent.
Did you think that was it? Did you think you were going to die that night?
Yeah, and that's the scary thought. It was a horrible, horrible situation, and one that I wouldn't wish upon anyone. The knowledge of stemming bleeding and stopping cuts and stuff helped me stop myself from bleeding, staying calm. So I kept taking deep breaths, understanding that I was losing a lot of blood, so the more oxygen I had in my body, the better. There was aspects from boxing what definitely saved my life that night, and you know, to be honest, all I kept thinking was, I can't believe I'm not going to see my kids again.
What does Jamie Moore, the trainer now, tell Jamie Moore, the fighter starting out?
That's a great question. Enjoy it, which I did. Fight at the right weight. I love that question because there's so much more. I could be such a better fighter from the lessons that I learned along the way, and that's what I like doing now to the fighters, what I'm training. I like to try and pass those lessons on so that they don't make those mistakes. Too many people think that being a trainer is about holding the pads, and it's not about that. It's about getting a balance right of life and boxing and making them blend together. I believe is the healthiest way to do it.
We'll be making our way to the gym next, where we'll catch up with Rocky Fielding, who's getting ready for his enormous test against this man.
Oh, that's surely it! Massive right hand, and it is all over. The right hand, wow!
Rocky, where were you when you first got the news that you might be in Canelo's sights?
I was in bed. It was 9:30 at night. The girl was just feeding a newborn, and we were lying in bed, and Jamie's name come up. So I answered, and I just thought it would be for some sparring or, you know, the session for tomorrow and that. But he just said, "You okay?" Yeah, he said, "Got some news." I said, "What?" He said, "Canelo wants to fight you." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah." So I said, "Let's do it."
So you said yes straight away?
Yeah, straight away, yeah. And then I said, "What weight?" He said, "You want your weight?" I said, "Like, what's the reason you want to step up to super middleweight, try and win a world title? You're there, and you know it's been going on for a few weeks. The talks behind the scenes and that." So, you know, I thought, yeah, straight away, big challenge, everything, big fight, yeah, straight away, and that was it. Then the phone went down, and I was like, "Am I going to get to sleep now?"
And it's become quite famous now. There's a selfie that you got of Canelo in Belfast a little while ago at one of Carl's fights. When you had that selfie with him, you would never have imagined that you were going to end up fighting him?
No.
You weren't sizing him up on the night or anything like that?
No. Just obviously sizing to see how his size, because I know, like, you watch him fight, but that was it. Just, you know, he's big for like middle, but like not as big for middle, do you know what I mean? But that was it. It was nothing like sizing up for a fight. It was just, you know, a quick selfie. Everyone was all over him. He was sitting actually like the row in front of me, do you know what I mean? So that was it. But then, yeah, I didn't never think anything else from that.
But then when you did get up close and personal with him a couple of weeks ago on the tour in the USA, what did you take home from that?
Yeah, well, that was it then. It was switching on then. It was more, no, this is it now. This is no more selfies, no more like, you know, the Canelo kind of the fan, you know, watching.
Did you get anything from, you know, seeing how much taller you were than him?
You know, we were there for 2 days. We were in each other's face for 2 days, and as each head-to-head was going on, I was just, you know, getting a boost, and I was drawing more confidence from it, thinking, yeah, you know what I mean? I know how much of a big challenge, you know, it is, and how much of a good fighter he is, and that, but head-to-head, the height, the size, and I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? I'm up for this.
You've actually had a tour of Madison Square Garden before, haven't you? But as a tourist?
Me and my girl done the tour around Madison Square Garden. You know, we'd done the basketball in the night time, and that went to basketball match. Yeah, and I was just sitting there, yeah, just watch. I was up in the, I went like courtside. I was only up in the cheap dollars, you know what I mean? So I was just thinking the atmosphere. I was like, imagine fighting here and the history that. The tour we done in the daytime, the history that the fella was telling us, the fights that have happened, the people that have sung there, and I was just saying, imagine fighting one day, yeah, and I just thinking nothing of it, just no way you imagine it, and then I got a picture outside on my own, posted on Instagram, just put like a hashtag one day, 4 years ago, and getting the phone call to go and fight there, you know, as the world champion.
You've arguably become the poster boy for people who show it doesn't matter if you take a loss early in your career.
Yeah, and funny enough, it was this day 4 years ago, I had the loss. I was driving up to the gym this morning, and I was thinking about it all. I was like, you know, we putting a post out just for people, for fighters that have took defeat or coming up, and I'm just thinking, right, this day 4 years ago, I lost. I've rebuilt, I've come back, I'm a world champion, I'm fighting Canelo, the biggest name, at Madison Square Garden, 4 years today, do you know what I mean? Like, so that's it, it's just, you know, one of them things, but I took it, I got back in the gym, I got back into big fights, and I ended up in the British Commonwealth again, and got the call for the world title, took that and now this, so, you know, I think a defeat or a setback, well, doesn't knock you, it only pushes you on even more.
Thank you very much, Rocky. We'll see you again after the break.
Where we'll be joined by Carl Frampton ahead of his big night against Josh Warrington, and we visit a former foe of his as we catch up with Scott Quigg in LA.
Anybody who's got a world title, I want to, you know, try and plan the route, and whichever way I can get a world title shot, that's the one I want. Ideally, that would be the winner of Warrington and Frampton.
I'm under no illusions at all. This is going to be a seriously hard fight.
What dreams and aspirations going on in unifying the division?
A year ago, I was being written off. People were saying I was done, I was over the hill.
I'm going to give absolutely everything.
I would love to be a world champion again.
I want to prove that I'm the very best in the division. There is mutual respect there, and we're letting the boxing gloves do the talking.
Happy fighter's a dangerous fighter. I'm in the prime of my life.
When I'm landing shots, the crowd will be roaring.
The timing's right now to win back my 4th world title.
December 22nd is going to be a hell of a night.
And it's hurt. Looking to put him away right here and now. And it's all over.
I'm joined in Jamie's gym by Carl Frampton. Carl, you've got a massive fight coming up with Josh Warrington. The fans are expecting a fan-friendly style fight. Is that what you're expecting?
Yeah, I think it will be. I've been involved in a fight before where people thought it was going to be a fan-friendly fight, and talk about the Scott Quigg fight, and it didn't really live up to expectations, but I think this one will.
You fought some big names now, Martinez, Santa Cruz, Quigg. Where does Warrington stand amongst those lots?
He's up there. He's a world champion. He's full of confidence, but I think that, if I'm being honest, I think that Scott Quigg's a better fighter. I think that Santa Cruz certainly is a better fighter. I think that there's talk, you know, there's an argument that Kiko Martinez beat him in that fight that they had for I think it was a WBC international title or something like that. So, you know, look, he's a good fighter. Don't want to be disrespectful, but I believe I've fought and beat better fighters.
You mentioned Santa Cruz there. I saw an interview with him, a very recent interview. He's mentioned that he'd like a third fight with you next year. Is that the fight that's at the top of your list?
Yeah, most definitely. It's good that he's saying that. I kind of was feeling a wee bit desperate. It sounded like it was only me talking about that fight constantly, but it's good that Santa Cruz has said that he wants to fight. But he said it before, and nothing's really materialised. So I hope it comes off. I want that more than any other. But deal with Warrington, and then I'd like to do Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz, the deal breaker was you getting him back to Belfast, wasn't it?
Not really. No, I think that I'd have been happy to travel again. He kind of said he would come to Belfast. I would have loved to have fought him in Belfast, but to be honest, that's out of my mind. I don't believe that he will come this side, and I think that I'll have to travel again. I'm happy to do so. I'd love it on the East Coast, but if it has to be on the West Coast, I'm happy to do that again. And I've said that, and I've openly said it. So, there's no issues with me traveling here. I'm ready to fight him anywhere.
You've now ticked the box where you wanted the big stadium fight back home. Was it everything you anticipated?
Yeah, it was.
Was it what you wanted?
Yeah, honestly, the atmosphere was incredible. I remember I was a wee bit nervous about the atmosphere because the opponent wasn't who I really wanted, if I'm being honest. I'd have preferred to have fought for a world title against a big name, but there was nothing we could do. A lot of the top guys were tied up. There was nothing Frank or MTK or myself could do, so we got Luke Jackson. I was a bit nervous about how the atmosphere was going to be, but it was an amazing atmosphere from start to finish. The people came out and they showed their support, and they were noisy right through until the fight was finished. And yeah, it was cool. I'd love to do it again, I'd love to fight there again in my career, but because I've done it, it's not a necessity for me now. I've done that, I've ticked that box.
What boxes are left to tick?
I wanna be a world champion again. So I have the chance of doing that by beating Josh Warrington in December. I'd like to unify my second division, and obviously if I beat Warrington, I want one of the champions straight away. I don't want to wait around and fight mandatories or fight other fights. I want to fight a unification fight and potentially have a crack at super featherweight at some point before my career is done as well.
How much longer do you see yourself fighting for?
I don't really have a time frame on it, but if I get the right fights, I'd like to go out on top. That's important. I want to go out on a win. I don't want to be a guy chasing a win, so it's going to be difficult to get it right. Because if you win a big fight, you're always going to get offered another big one. So getting out at the right time is very important. But 3 or 4, I think, if they're all big fights, is plenty.
How important is the Warrington fight? Because if you don't win against Warrington, then none of this other stuff matters.
Who knows what happens, of course, and that's why I can't really take my eye off the ball. People ask me questions about Santa Cruz and Valdez and other people, and I'm happy to talk about it, but I need to beat Josh Warrington first and foremost, and that's the only guy I'm focused on at the minute. So beat him. Well, I believe I will. I believe I'll beat him. I think I'll beat him convincingly, and then we move on and look at the other guys. But this fight, at this stage of my career, is the most important, definitely.
Thanks, Carl. Now we're going across to Los Angeles, where I recently caught up with Scott Quigg, Carl's older opponent, and he's looking to get back in the mix with some big fights. How close have you become to Freddie over the training camps you've had with him?
We come close, we're as a team, we link up very well. I get his methods, the communication when we're working on stuff, we click. As a team, we click, but we're also, we're very good friends as well, outside the gym as well.
What's Freddie brought to the table for you? What have you improved on since you guys have been together?
First of all, he's brought me back enjoying boxing. Every day in the gym I feel like I'm learning, I'm enjoying it, and it's just the subtle little things of when, where and how to do, throw the certain shots, and it's more, there's only certain punches you can throw in boxing, a jab, a right hand, a left hook, uppercuts, but it's when to throw them, how to set them up, and that's the ring knowledge and the experience that he has, that's what he's bringing to me.
What do you still want from the sport, and who would you like to fight moving forward?
I still want to be world champion. If I didn't think I could become world champion, believe me, I wouldn't be in it. It's too hard of a game. I put my life and soul into it. I was in the gym at 6:30 this morning, training. I love what I do, and I know for a fact I'll become world champion again.
There's a big fight in the UK in December, Frampton and Warrington. You've obviously been in the ring with Frampton. How do you see that fight going?
I see Frampton winning it. I think he's a level above, but I do think the more I've thought about the fight, the more I've watched a bit of them, both of them again, and just had because as a fan, I want to watch the fight. As a potential, I've always wanted a rematch with Frampton because I believe I can beat him. Warrington beats Frampton. I'd love to fight Warrington, but the closer the fight's getting, I do give Warrington more of a chance than I thought, because I think style-wise he's got a few traits in his style that can cause Frampton problems.
Is the winner of Frampton Warrington, is that at the top of your shopping list?
Yeah, anybody who's got a world title, I want to try and plan the route, and whichever way I can get a world title shot, that's the one I want. Ideally, that would be the winner of Warrington and Frampton. That would be probably top of the list, because it'd be obviously an all-British showdown again, and it'd be a big fight.
Carl, so that's what we've heard from Scott Quigg. He'd like to fight you again. Do you envisage your paths crossing again?
No, I don't know. I want to be involved in big fights with champions from here on in until the end of my career, and Scott Quigg isn't a champion at this point in time, unless he wins a world title. But at this point, I don't see it. And the first fight was a pretty boring fight, and a fight that I won pretty convincingly, I think.
December 15, your stablemate Rocky Fielding goes to Madison Square Gardens to fight Canelo. What does he need to do on December 15th?
It's going to be difficult. I don't think Rock, I think he understands that, and I think the whole team understand that, and he understands the position he's in. Canelo was one of the best fighters on the planet, but I think looking at the size difference and being there actually when they had their head-to-head in New York, it's incredible, the size difference. Like it just looks unrealistic. And the thing is with Rock, he's a big puncher, and big punchers and a big man, he's always got a chance. I think that Canelo and his team may have overlooking Rocky Fielding and see him as an easy touch, and they're wrong. So it's going to be difficult, but Big Rock can do it, definitely.
And Rocky, a week later, Carl's fighting Josh Warrington in a huge fight over here. What does Carl need to do against Josh?
You just box his head off, really. I think Warrington's style is made for Carl, and he comes forward, he's playing to Carl's hands, and he can outbox him and then finish him off.
And Jamie, what do you want from the guys in December?
I don't really want anything more from the lads than what I've already got from them. We've had 3 fights together, with both lads, and every time I've got from them everything I've asked for them. They've stuck to the game plan. They've been disciplined in the gym, and they've been disciplined outside the gym, and that's all you can ever ask of a fighter. So I'm not looking at them saying, listen, in these particular fights you're going to have to do more than I've had from you before, because they've been 100% dedicated every single time.
Thank you very much, guys. That's all we've got time for this week. December's going to be a crazy month for Jamie and the team. We'll see you all again soon.